Hi, thanks for joining us. In this video, we're going to take a more in-depth look at what the Forensic Desktop can do for us, including the three main ways to search for video that's been previously recorded. First thing I've done is logged into our demo site as usual. I've been brought to our landing page, and in the top right-hand corner under User Tasks, I see I have the Forensic Desktop. I'm going to click and enter that. At this point, we have a previous video that took us through all the buttons and switches and information that are on this screen, so I'll bypass that information. If this video moves too quick for you, I recommend you watch that one first, as it explains every single button and how it works. There are three main ways to look for video and access control in the S2 Pronto and Pronto VR solutions. The first of which is if we know exactly what we're looking for. I can go to a specific date and time up in the top left. I'm going to go back to Monday, May the 20th, and I'm going to select 4:15 in the morning. Immediately after I do that, you'll notice that first of all, the activity log is updated with all the relevant information from 4:15 on 5:20 up until now. Also, all the cameras have been updated with a brief snapshot of what happened around that time. You see 4:15 view of the outside camera, you see a 4:37 view of an open area PTZ, and a 4:57 view of the lobby. These are just clips around that time to give us a snapshot of what was going on around the 4:15 a.m. time that we selected there. Now, if I know exactly what I'm looking for, I can select my date and time as I have here, and I can filter for an exact person or type of event in the activity log on the top right. You can filter by any type of information that's in the activity log. You could filter by name, you could filter by access type, for instance, access granted, access denied. You could search by type of entry, suite entrance, stair 1, third floor employee entrance. We could filter on anything in here, and it'll show us that. So, for example, we have a Scott Ferguson. I could type in Scott and filter, and you'll see that all I've done is typed in the first three letters, and here's all the access events for Scott Ferguson between 5:20 and right now that occurred anywhere in the solution. However, I'm not looking for Scott. I could also look for denied. I might want to say, show me all the access denieds that occurred in the system. I didn't even have to type the whole word, and you see it immediately filters and shows me exactly the information what I'm looking for. In addition, we also have a drop-down menu. I could filter by person and type of event. So I could put in Scott. You see we have two SCs there, and I could say show me all access granted events. And there's all the access granted events for those exact filters. You can clear the filter by hitting the X button as well. So if I know exactly what I'm looking for, I can start with the date and time, and I can use the filter to find that individual. Once I find them, I can drill into them and get more information about them. So let's say that the Scott Ferguson character is in fact the individual that we need to find out more information about. All of the activity log is very interactive. I could click on Scott Ferguson right here in the activity log, and I'm presented with a menu that allows me to select what I want to see. I could say show me access by Scott Ferguson on all locations anywhere in the solution, or just at this door that have ever occurred since May 20th at 4:15 a.m. In this case, I'm going to select access by Scott Ferguson on all locations. These are all of the instances where Scott Ferguson has presented a credential, any type of credential, and been granted or denied access. Everything would be shown here in the solution. The camera list also updated, but we now need to click on our timeline. We've selected the individual in our activity log, and our timeline will now show us the clips associated with every single one of those instances. You see, as I mouse over the activity log, it highlights on the thumbnail tray in our timeline bar below exactly which clip it is that I'm looking at. I can click on any one of the videos and select play. Of course, I can pause a video if I wanted. I can also select multiple videos. I might want to say, show me all 5 of these videos, and select play. I can double click on this video pane to bring it up in a larger view. And as covered in the previous video on the overview of the forensic desktop, I can switch between my clips that I've selected by clicking the next clip button. Another unique feature of the Pronto VR solution is that we have a credential information right here. This person's photo ID exists in their credential. So I can verify by looking back at this video not only that it was Scott Ferguson's credential, but also that it was Scott Ferguson who accessed our solution. I can even play this further and make sure that nobody tailgated behind him. I feel pretty confident knowing now that not only is that Scott Ferguson's credential, but that is in fact him. That's great, again, if we know exactly what we're looking for, but there are many instances where we don't know what exactly it is that we're looking for. A second way to search is a general time and an area. We know that something happened at the suite entrance sometime on Tuesday, May the 21st. In fact, we want to take a look at everything that happened there around that time. So the second way to search is to, again, start with the date and time we want to work with, select OK. And again, that start time will give us a snapshot of those views, and our activity log will update with information around there. And we want to actually click on our suite entrance now. We want to take a look at all the activity that occurred at the suite entrance portal on Monday, May the 21st. And we can go directly to our timeline, and it'll show us any clip associated with all the activity that occurred at the suite entrance door on that day. You'll notice that it has both access granted and access denied. You could also click on the type of activity. So we could say, well, the instance I'm looking for is an access granted. I could click on access granted for an individual, or I could click on access granted in a general way and show me all access granteds. Show all activity of this type at this door whatsoever, and again we can see the clips associated with every single one of the access granteds that occurred in the solution. You'll also notice again that as I mouse over the activity log, it highlights the thumbnail view below on which one it is that I'm looking for. This is an example when we're searching, when we have a general idea of when and where, and perhaps even what time, but we didn't know an exact individual that we were looking for. So in this case, we might want to play multiple clips and see everything that happened around that time as far as people who came or went through the building. And we could play through all those clips. Again, we could double click to maximize that view, and we could scroll through our clips as we saw fit. Again, we have a credential information here too, so even though we're playing through clips of multiple people, the solution is smart enough to show us the credential for every clip associated with that individual. In this case, John Perangeli does not have a picture. So the last way that we can go about looking for information in the Pronto VR is if we don't have any access data at all that's of any use to us. That is, what if we have an area that does not have a door associated with it whatsoever, but we know something happened there? We can't search through our activity log. In fact, our activity is absolutely inconsequential to what we're looking for right now. So I'll even go so far as to just hide the activity log. We're going to talk strictly about just the video. In this case, I know something happened during the day in an area that doesn't have an access event associated with it, starting at around 7 a.m. And I'm going to say it happened in our delivery area. I want to take a look at our delivery area over the course of that day in 1 hour increments. Something happened where I know a suspicious package was delivered, and I want to find out when exactly that happened. I'll select 1 hour because it's a 30,000 foot view and allows us to take a long look at what might have happened in the day. I've selected delivery area camera. I've selected 1 hour increments over on the right hand side. Now I'm going to click on our timeline. I'll hide our activity log again because it's just not relevant to what we're doing, and you'll see that the clips that are coming up are in and about 1 hour increments. We can see between 9:09 a.m. when I click on this clip and 10:15 a.m. some packages mysteriously appear. So I know somehow between 9:09 and 10:15 a.m. is when those packages were likely delivered. So I'm going to click right here in the video window where it says 5:21:909, and you'll notice as soon as I do that, that updates our current search time in the top left-hand corner to that exact clip time. But I don't want 1 hour increments. These aren't valuable to me anymore. I know that something happened between 9:09 and 10:15, so I'm going to start drilling in a little closer. I'm going to go down to 10-minute intervals. And again, you can see it goes from 9:09 to 9:21 to 9:38. And in fact, we can see likely between 9:09 and 9:21 is when the first of the packages arrived. Well, that's what I'm looking for. That's the suspicious package that I'm tracking. So I'm going to drill now down even further, down to 1-minute intervals, and I want to take a close look at exactly what happened until that box arrived. I know now that it happened between 9:17 a.m. and 9:21. So the easiest thing for me to do is go back to our 9:17 a.m. clip and hit play. And there it is. I have no access data that could have helped me find that any quicker than I already did, but I went from knowing absolutely nothing in a general time and that something happened, down to the actual event in an absolute matter of seconds by drilling down from a 30,000 foot view of an entire day in 1 hour increments down to the exact minute that occurred. Those are the primary 3 ways of going about searching for all the different types of data that there is in the Pronto.